And yeah, really happy to be here.
We're great to have you. Glad to have you. Sunsing's gonna help us embed music and digital files into channels of the JPEG. So look out for some help from Sunsing on the digital side. And Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself and your beautiful plants.
Michael Kemp here, founder of Hydro. Pretty much the easiest way to describe me. I'm a social engineer, builder of bridges, carer and giver of many, and for many. Cannabis is my medicine to cure all my ailments. And it's helped me get off of a dozen different medications. Kept me sober from multiple drugs and saved me from alcohol. So I love your shirt today, man. We got some beautiful guests behind me, some lemon tree, some banana OG, and no Jack Terror yet. I'm waiting for some real true seeds. Wink, wink. Much love to be here. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to all the great adventures you're planning this year, and most importantly, ending prohibition with you. So this is the year. Let's do it.
You can do it.
We're really excited and blessed to have everybody today. I have a little bit of something that Dan brought up to me this week. It's called, and Dan can help me a little bit as I go through this. Just for a second here, I'm gonna read this. Let's see if I can enlarge my print for my old self here. Okay, it's called the phytovirus. Is the phytovirus the COVID of cannabis? You know, I mean, was what we're about to talk about and navigate here engineered by freaky deakies out there wanting to stop, like what was the deal with AIDS? What was the deal with Corona?
Let's not start a conspiracy, but there's definitely a pathogen that's going through cannabis and other plants that is causing a great deal of distress, one amongst the plants and the people that use them. And it is hops latent viroid, and this it is truly devastating to the plant kingdom at this point, and it's infecting everything from cannabis to carrots.
So the article I pulled up says that in 2019, every single garden that was tested for pathogens, mold or other standard tests, came back positive, and a new improved virus mutated this spring. Every thing we're talking about is different of the flu altogether, mutations such as virus, blah, 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 blah. And now what is the phytovirus? And they're calling it the dudding disease. Do you know about that? Is that like a budding disease, or have you heard any of this?
I have not heard that description.
I just Googled it today and tried to get some information on our conversation, because I said, when do we get some dad strain? And you said that we're going through the virus right now. So yes, let's not project anything or call anybody out. Let's just definitely keep our neutrality here and figure out what's the solution, Dan? Is it to grow closer indoors, or what's the deal?
No, this is not spread by the wind or anything. It's spread by direct interaction with cutting of the plant. So if a plant is topped, cut, trimmed with a device, pinking shears, any type of trimming device, the edges of that device could be spreading the pathogen from plant to plant to plant to plant, and then eventually entire grows and entire communities and entire nurseries. And it's just it's been a real problem for the cannabis space. And
is it mold?
I'm sorry?
Is it mold or fungal?
No, it is viral. It's a virus.
So that's bacterial.
I'm not exactly sure what the virus constitutes, but you know, there are many universities that are starting to look at this, because it is not just cannabis that this is attacking. It is attacking our food supply. So it is quickly going to become, I think, one of those things that we'll start hearing on the nightly news sometime in the next year.
So why has it been hushed so much? Are we losing full crops?
We're losing more than just full crops. We're losing entire genetic strains.
Because it gets into the seed.
It gets into the plant creates a seed, the seed goes back to flower, the flower, it just keeps. So we have to figure out how do we stop the plant from being infected to the point where its product is affected. And you know, some of the thoughts have been very similar to what we've done with the coronavirus, with the mRNA vaccine, that, you know, somehow we can, in a sense, prevent a plant from developing the symptoms of, and then spreading it through. And if we can do that, you know, in the scientific labs, then, you know, there's hope to.
Is there any way? Is there anybody studying in America this, or is it in Israel? Where's the study?
No, it's being. I know it's being studied here in the U.S. Because it's affecting U.S. plants. You know,
and agriculture. You said agriculture. It's slipping over into agriculture.
Yeah, it's getting into lettuce. It's getting into hops. It's getting into carrots. It's getting into our food supply.
And it's a hop space. It's a hop space. You said something like that, right?
Yeah, it's a the hops latent. Well, I don't know if it's hops base, but it's just called hops latent virus. And sometimes the virus takes time to show, and that could be because of stress. So there are some plants that can go through the growing cycle without having the level of stress that would create a problem. But when you take cuts and clones from those plants, and then you go and veg those out, and those become plants that are already infected. And if they become stressed, then they start showing the symptoms of that stress, and the symptoms of the stress is significant.
And how about detecting the virus before putting that seed into sprouting? Can you detect it in the seed?
That's all going to be developed by the scientific community, way, way, way above my understanding at this point.
Huh.
Yeah, it'd have to be a genetic structure of some type. Yeah.
So there's significant interest, and this year it's going to be full tilt on trying to figure out how to start combating this in a very real way, other than just destroying complete genetics that may have this virus in it, even if it's not showing, and replacing them with uninfected viruses, uninfected genetics. That is harder said than done.
So it sounds like it's going to
harder done than said.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to affect the supply chain and plus maybe the end user price.
You know, that's all on the economic side of this. That's I'm not even in that. I know that we've lost, you know, tens of thousands of square feet of flower just in our genetic here in California, and that it is rampant in every state that touches that is dealing in this plant. And I don't think there's anybody who's completely free of experiencing what this is, and trying to create protocols not to spread it within their facilities.
So if we're putting out the APB for you know, to share this with the cannabis world, how do you tell if your plant is infected? Does it grow differently, or is it a visual thing? Can you tell?
Both. You know, its performance as a plant is significantly diminished. Its appearance can be altered, and It is, you know, it shows itself in different ways.
It sounds devastating.
It basically comes down to all mothers, you know, from a cannabis standpoint, all mothers creating clones all need to be tested to make sure that they're not creating, you know, an army of virus.
So we need a clean seed bank to draw from, correct?
Well, and many folks that have been producing products have unwittingly been producing products and putting them into the market that quite possibly were or have been infected, and it's really serious.
Yeah.
How do we wipe the slate clean, Dan? What is there a round table of genetic engineers talking about this to clean our industry?
There are genetic scientists, not necessarily from this industry, because this is affecting other plants that we, you know, interact with every day. So the interest on how to deal with this particular virus or viruses like it are going to be front and center. You know, you may not hear about it in regular conversation currently, but certainly I would think by the end of this year, it's going to become, you know, a very, very significant topic within every agricultural industry.
It seems as if we have a scoop, you know, almost, even though you're privy of it. How long have you?
Well, it's been going on for a couple of years. It's
okay.
It's just getting to that point of, you know, complete.
Hey, Dan, it seems to me like you were onto something when you were saying something like the way that it attaches whatever to the plant, that process, whatever that similarity is between the plants, is that process, and to define it, it's got to be some kind of genetic structure that's embedded, and we can identify it just like with corona.
No, I mean you can identify it through testing. There are testing labs that specifically test for this virus, and you know, I would say that 9 out of 10 plants right now, or certainly at least, you know, let's say at a good pace, maybe 7 out of 10 are showing positive. That's scary.
So does it make the end product, even though the yield is different and maybe the potency, but does that plant then become toxic to humans?
It's not I don't think that there's going to be a jump to human as far as like a virus like that. Right now, this is just in the food space. I am not qualified in any way whatsoever.
Sure.
To comment on how it moves from.
My question as a foodie or as an imbiber is if it's going throughout the crops and some crops get to market, we don't have to worry.
I'm not. I don't have any understanding that it transfers to humans. I don't think that is a concern whatsoever at all.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Dan.
I certainly wouldn't want to put anybody, you know, in panic over this.
Right. Well,
it's really the plant world that we're talking about now, not human interaction.
Right. I mean, we're a reform show, obviously, here, everybody, on Weeds Day, but we also bring the news, the cannabis-based news, and this is very important. If it's been a couple of years and it's starting to be studied and knowledge and it's coming out, you know, TV, film, and what we do is information. So the information we're sharing with you today is important for everybody to listen to globally and to be aware, to open your eyes that something is going on in this space of the genetics of our plants right now with, and they haven't given it a name yet. Was it with the phytovirus?
It's HLV, Hops latent virus.
Okay, HLV. Okay, cool. Well, amazing. Well, enough said on the downstroke. Let's get an upstroke. Leah, tell us a little bit about yourself and your good news.
My fantastic news, and thank you, Jeff, and Dan, and Sunrise. I mean, oh my gosh, y'all are amazing. First of all, my son became a Texas medical patient last year. It took a lot of work, but he was very, very sick with brain cancer, and I got him to be with his oncologist through a pain management doctor of all people. It worked with the oncology office, and I became, as of yesterday, a legal Texas medical patient. That might not be anything to anybody else but me, but I'm helping with legislation because as a guardian of a medical patient, which is my son, now I am a patient and legally, and it is a process in our state. We watch out for our hemp farmers as well too, but we've got some good ones going down here. There are only 2 medical providers, which are Good Blend USA and Texas Original LLC. We went with the Texas Original LLC. They lab test, everything that we want, because I have so many allergies. I make sure, because he had to have chemo as well. So I was making sure everything that was going into his body was holistic, because I'm holistic. And it's just been an amazing, I'm still on a natural high, actually, right now, from becoming a patient with a doctor that just, I was like, dang, impressed me, because I don't like too many doctors. So I'm excited. I'm grateful. And food is, I'm on the industrial side as well. I am in, I volunteer with many organizations, the World Cannabis Foundation, the National Industrial Hemp Association, the Global Hemp Association, because Texas is going to play a big, big role with hemp, industrial hemp as well. We have our hemp farmers here, and one of them had problems with the issue that y'all were talking about. And Dr. Cannabis, we call her Anna the Cannabis. she's a PhD that I talk with. But yeah, just great news. Great news. And Texas Cannabis Roundup is happening tonight on Clubhouse. I'm an advocate. I work with legislation. The next step for us, because I make my own soil, I grow many other plants, is for a Texas compassionate caregiver grow for the patient. And this is my next challenge here in this big state. As a caregiver and a patient, legally, it gives me certain protections, but I know what I'm up against. And I also practice essential civilian demand by Paul J. Von Hartman, because per our religious beliefs, and emergency preparedness, hemp is an essential food resource and should be grown everywhere for fiber and grain. And so this is where I'm on the medical side, and I'm on the industrial side as well. And I'm just glad to be here. It's Leah. Good to see you. Thank you so much for even including me. Appreciate it. It's a great day in my neighborhood.
Congratulations, and thanks for being here.
You're a beauty, and thank you for taking care of your son and being an advocate and pushing the word of the 420 to from your mouth to God's ears. Hemp hemp hooray! Wait here, I think I got let's see, I got totally. There we go. So that was Leah, everybody. Cara, come on board again. Let us see your beautiful mug. There you are. And give us a little bit about your update. How's your week going? And how are you feeling this World 420 Day where we're visualizing ending prohibition?
Hey, I'm visualizing ending prohibition, hopefully starting somewhere close to home. I'm here in Indiana, and next week I'm meeting with someone with the Midwest Hemp Council to talk about how I can get more involved with advocacy for my state. I was told this morning that they saved Delta 8 from being banned here in my state a couple weeks ago. So that was a positive for me and my business, which is distributing hemp products to the local tobacco stores here in my state. I generally use Delta 8 products daily, more so than I use THC, which is surprising to me as a previous consumer of heavy amounts of THC. But I generally use edibles to just medicate myself and stay regulated emotionally, really, is where I'm at. And I want to advocate here that we need at least some sort of access to cannabis as well as hemp-based products, because a lot of people are suffering from opioid addiction and a lot of pain just in general. I don't know exactly what is causing everybody in our area to be so addicted to opioids, but they are really having an epidemic with the opioid addiction out here and fentanyl lacing the cannabis on the streets. As someone that is afraid of fentanyl being on her cannabis, I don't want that to be the case. And I think that we need to eliminate, the fentanyl in the streets. We need to eliminate people having to turn to street drug dealers instead of, craft cultivars and dispensaries. I think there needs to be a balance between the two, and that we can get to that hopefully someday soon. But I'm ready to use my voice and find more people who want to stand by me and use their voice to kind of fight for our rights to have, legal cannabis in our state as well. We're surrounded by it, so it's kind of like we're sitting at the kids' table next to all the adults that get to have some sort of legal weed.
Sounds like Thanksgiving or Passover. I sat at the kids' table myself. Yeah.
I always sat at the kids' table, but I liked it better there because kids are interesting and they always say interesting things.
I always found the afikomen. That's a matzah they put in the little napkin, and then Dad goes to the bathroom and hides it, and then all the kids get $1 when they find the afikomen during Passover. So it's pretty cool. So a little Yiddish here, a little Jewish meditations here, and Laura. Kara, you were mentioning Delta 8. Since we're going global here on this show, tell our global community what you know. What is Delta 8? Come on.
Okay, so Delta 8 is a minor hemp-based cannabinoid. I'm saying that word right today, right? Cannabinoid?
Yes, cannabinoid. I taught you that.
Okay. I always mess up my words sometimes, and I apologize for that ahead of time. But it's derived from the hemp plant, and it has a psychoactive effect that's milder than typical Delta 9 THC, which is your typical THC from cannabis. And as we all know, hemp is just THC 0.03. That's how I remember the difference between cannabis and hemp. The THC percentage is really where we're trying to aim for a higher THC percentage here than just 0.3%. A lot of people are just fine with 2.5 milligrams, but with a Delta 8 THC, what we're seeing is it has a stronger effect in stronger doses in edible form, than THC. And people who were not getting the elevated effect from THC from edibles are getting the effects from Delta 8 THC, which is interesting to me because I had a lot of people that have PTSD state that they don't get high anymore, essentially, from using flower or using vapes or using even any edible. They don't get high from it. And then they've tried Delta 8 THC edibles, vapes, and tinctures, and they are noticing a slightly, like, very large difference, actually, not slightly, but a very large difference in their elevation levels.
Is there
It's really just,
is there a legal aspect with Delta 8? Where does it lay in the lineage of legalization?
it's federally legal except in some states that have banned it. It's underneath the farm bill that makes it legal. And in my state, they were able to save it from being banned a couple weeks ago. I'm not exactly sure what happened there to save it, other than enough people probably wrote in their experiences with it to explain to the legislation efforts there what needed to happen. I wrote a letter myself about why I use it and how it affects my mental health. And I also, I broke my back in 2011. Like, I completely fractured my vertebrae falling down the stairs on a beautiful September day. And I ended up having to be in a back brace for like 3 months and couldn't walk. And it was like the second time I had to relearn how to walk in my life because I had broken my femur as a teenager. I also had a lot of surgery as a teenager because my ovary exploded. So I have no belly button and I'm in a lot of pain a lot of the time. So I also used to weigh about 500 pounds and now I don't, but it's neither here nor there. But it's one of those things where I've used in the past a lot more cannabis just to regulate my pain. And now I've realized that just a little coffee in the morning with some Delta 8 tincture is enough cannabis for me. I don't need to be stupefied or stupid high to just feel the effects that I want from the Delta 8 THC, which I really just think it helps a lot more for me personally. But
thank you so much for sharing that explanation. Dan, what do you know about Delta 8?
That it is, it's getting a fairly significant bad rap, and some of it's even come from our own community of medical cannabis, because in some ways it competes with the dollar that's available in any market. And so
greed is stepping in once again.
Is not as regulated as medical cannabis or recreational cannabis. The profit margins for those folks are much higher. Therefore, it does create, in some levels, some pushback from our own community about our own community, and it's really troubling, and it's sad to watch our community bicker over the plant that we all love and try to use. And the fact that one side is not just regulated, but over-regulated and overtaxed, and one is not going through those same rigorous, situations. So there's, some levels of animosity. There's some, it's just problematic when we start fighting over the thing that we all love, and it's disturbing.
And is it your excuse me? Is it your understanding that Delta 8 is derived from the plant?
It is derived from the plant,
okay.
And but there are also, from my understanding, synthetic versions of Delta 8, which are not looked upon favorably, but the cannabis plant-derived Delta 8 should be as accepted as anything else.
So just like the food industry,
the farm bill.
yeah. Keep going. Keep going.
The fact that it's represented in a sense, because the Farm Bill says that all products made from hemp should be legal, and that's obviously a much greater step than what's happening on the THC side. But it is not considered a Schedule 1. It is only perceived as something to be afraid of in neighborhoods, because people are starting to talk about the elevation or the effects of it, and trying to demonize it and make it unacceptable to be used in certain communities, and therefore these pushbacks, like what she was talking about, and this is again, trying to control the narrative of something that other people would choose to make the public afraid of. It's really difficult. The megaphones that some people have are much greater than the community that loves this plant.
So we're seeing greed and hypocrisy come in again, and yet it's again information and learning and teaching each other, where Delta 8, the good Delta 8, because you were saying there's synthetic Delta 8. Shouldn't there be, like the USDA organic sign that you have to buy, and the Delta 8 that is made from the plant should have a Delta 8, organic sign on their selling, packaging?
In my opinion, Jeffrey, I think we should have the availability to get lab tested Delta 8 that has the hemp derived packaging on it. That we do have that already, at least from the source that I get it from. It says it's hemp derived on the packaging.
Oh, great. Okay.
It does say where it came from. It does have a lab test. Granted, you can't be sure on some of these lab tests. And, Dan, you're correct. Like, there's a lot of backlash because there is no real regulation to it. And that's where it gets really confusing for people like me. Oh, hi, Papa. Sorry, guys. Papa wants to say hi.
Hi, Papa.
But, it's confusing for people like me who want to go forth and open an edibles bakery. Like, how do we do that above board and make sure that everything follows through? You really can't. So, you just can't. And it's one of those things where what we could do is like have the infuse anything tincture available for your coffee cup that you buy on your own, and then you can have it yourself and infuse it yourself at your own dosage level, knowing how much is labeled in the bottle per milligrams and QR codes, etc. But it's all up, it's all just a lot right now, trying to figure out what you can and what you can't do. At least, especially here in Indiana.
Right. And Jeffrey, what you said, hypocrisy and greed, it doesn't really matter what industry it is. It could be the food industry, the beef industry, the oil industry, and even the cannabis industry. We're finding out who we are as people when we start bickering about the things that we have that are in competition with one another. And everybody wants to seize and control and rule the space that they're in and the product that they make, and I want to be the biggest, and I want to be the best, and I want to have the most, and I want to have this, and not realize that there's a lot of room in this space for all of us to participate in, and greed doesn't have to be one of them. Good business is always great. And if you do good business and you're profitable, then God bless you.
One of my
but to try to demonize another side of this industry because it conflicts with your profitability, I think is a disgrace to the things like my father fought for, the things that Dennis Perone fought for, the things that Gatewood Galbraith fought for, the things that we continue to fight for today with our friends Tommy Chong and Cheech Marin and all of the people that are coming out with products and using their voices to continue to try to end prohibition. Greed and dishonoring in the cannabis space is something that really doesn't belong in a space that has so much love for what it is that we do and have the opportunity to do.
Well, the Washington and Colorado movements, being the first legal states, prove that. I mean, this has been one of my bugaboos forever with the whole industry, and it's even difficult for me to even say industry because the profit base should go back into the industry, should go back into helping to end prohibition and all of these things. And so what I always was saying is that because of Colorado and Washington State, look what we did. We're balancing our budgets. It's an incredible money source, no matter how you look at it. Hemp, fabric, paper, fiber, fuel. I mean, who's going to be the first hemp toilet paper? $1 billion industry, more new jobs. And so why should we be having this greed and this step in, whether it's Delta 8 or it's massive grows in Las Vegas that brings the price down to $3 a gram? And then the cannabis outdoor growers in Northern California that grow incredible organic plants can't get their price anymore. So I'm hoping for that day that we end prohibition and that the stewards, the OGs and the new people coming up come together tighter and drop this greed thing, because it's incredible the potential of this plant to balance a budget and make money.
Well, Jeff, I mean, forgive me for interrupting one more time. With the shining the light on legal cannabis in Washington State and Colorado, yeah, there are some benefits to how they've gone about it, but the overall thing is that we're still overregulated, we're still overtaxed, and they're balancing their budgets on the hearts, minds, and souls and energy of the cannabis space. And instead of these cannabis companies being able to take some of those profits that they're overtaxed in and being able to expand in the things and the offerings that they have and lower the cost of goods and still be able to be profitable.
Without a doubt.
But if you're paying so much money in taxes and you need to be profitable, the price has to be higher. And so this is not a model that is beneficial to all mankind. It is a contribution to the politicians and the pockets of the states in order to do what they want with that money, regardless of where it came from. And they're not taking the money and reinvesting it into people. They're taking it and investing it into more regulations and more,
that's the scary thing of building new roads, as opposed to, another theater or, and so on and so forth. It's very difficult, the disbursement of this beautiful money that's coming in. But once and for all, just with our show, everybody, we're on Weeds Day with Jeff Eichen, and we've got some beautiful souls here talking about ending prohibition, making it ethically attainable, and talking about the virus that's in the air right now. Well, not in the air, but that we had already described today. So I'm really blessed to have everybody on today. Leah, did you have something to say? I saw your hand up.
Oh gosh, it was right after. Yes, I did. I'm trying to remember because I just, but here we're going to need a lot of support. We've got great lab people. It was about the farm bill with the hemp. What was happening in our community was the the Delta 8, it was being sprayed onto real hemp bud and being called D8 bud, even though it wasn't grown for that. And it was making people sick. And that was something big that was happening, because in Texas, you know, we have the 0.03%, and kind of different. And the spray, the synthetic spray that they were spraying the bud with, this was the issue. It was being sprayed with some kind of D8, saying it was hemp derived. So when I see, I'm like, what are the COAs on it? What are the labs on it? And what are the ingredients? And as a person, you know, holistically speaking, I don't want any synthetic chemicals sprayed unnaturally good, because I'm about the whole plant, nothing but the plant. So help me the plant. And I'm all like full plant, whole plant medicine, and anything sprayed, extra terpenes, flavored terpenes, they were having a problem with that. Other than that, I mean, no problem. I mean, I'm just like, heck yeah, let's just deschedule. First of all, it should have never been made illegal in the first place. It was in all of our medicines, in the pharmacopoeia. And and up until World War II, the military's uniforms were made from hemp because of its natural antiviral, antifungal, antimicrobial, antibacterial. So when we're talking
All the
viral,
the sails on ships were made out of hemp because they wouldn't mold or mildew.
right, and this is why I want a hemp home for healthy housing. And but this is what this was my only thing that I just wanted to add it, you know, well, we were discussing the hemp.
Thank you so much, Leah. We're so blessed to meet you and to have you as.
Welcome back.
Say that again, Dan.
I said, Michael, welcome back.
Welcome back, Michael. Michael, give us your take on today. What's going on for you?
My take is that we've got a collective of individuals here to make the difference. Hopefully you can hear me. All right, my microphone is on. And I'm glad to be part of that. When it comes to cannabis, hemp, it's all cannabis, regardless hemp or THC. So I love the plant in its entirety. I've been, you know, with Leah and learning of whole plant medicine. The capabilities of the plants proves itself every day, right? In my life and others' lives. And I think honestly, it's ridiculous, the fighting and bickering within. You've got the same people that made the plant illegal for the industries that they want to run us. And they're doing the same thing to get into the industry we're fighting for, while making it difficult. And it's people don't recognize the repeat history and the distractions in front of them, and they focus on all this other greed. And it is very sad. However, through shows like this, people like everyone on this show and others that are watching and others that don't realize it yet. That's the fun part. The collective will make a difference, and we will end prohibition. That's the simplicity of it. And I'm really, really excited to take this into the digital world and NFT world and all these other exciting ways on a decentralized platform to spread the word. And then, you know, all those servers need to be built on hempcrete, just because of the cleanliness factor that Leah spoke on, and their temperatures, all kinds of benefits. So the level of the plant in our life, everything's better. That's how I look at it. So
I love that.
Well, I'm glad to be part of the farming.
So what's your take or experience with HLP at this point?
With what?
With hops latent virus. I see the plants behind you.
that's where I was going to say as well. So I was going to say, so just technically, if you've been breeding seeds of your own from the 90s and before, and it's probability those seeds you've been creating for the past 15 years don't have that, correct?
Yes, but it's once they go into flower, once they go into veg, and people are using, any type of tool to cut or trim, when they break the surface of the stem, it literally allows contamination from, let's say, something that wasn't being protected over the past 20 years to something that's just been, a new genetic of some sort.
Something that's
And
been
it literally goes from plant to plant.
Have the tools been coated by the enemy? Just saying. Tools could be coated.
I'm not going to conspiracy. It's just a problem that we have.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, on the level of what people can do. Okay, all the scissors were coated. And that's where it came from. Something that simple could be, and the powers of it is. There's a lot of zeros at the end of it. There's a lot of people that don't want us to have our own capabilities. Sorry for the language, but what the fuck does THC have to do with industrial hemp? It can have 30 THC and a piece of wood, whatever you're making of plastic or this or that. It is what it is.
Well,
Okay, so here's the thing
you
between
can
that.
smoke your clothes. Don't smoke your clothes. Come on, it just makes no sense. It does.
Let's just put it simply. Cannabis is the most disruptive technology ever known to mankind. It affects and touches every part of every human's life, whether they believe in cannabis or not, for wearing on their clothes, burning in their cars, wearing on their skin, enjoying in their lungs, putting in their blood. It doesn't matter what cannabis is. It affects every other industry that is determined not to have their profits diminished by its existence.
110% right there.
Yeah.
Does all these great healing things and just happens to disrupt all these billion-dollar industries controlled by the small percentage that makes us pay for it. So, coming though, man, with military, with the vets as medicine, and all of these tsunamis that are they're here, they're now. Collectively, the powers that don't want it are going to work to separate all of it by any way, shape, or form, and that's what they're doing. It's to still band together and fight for that same purpose and recognize the same shit they've done for decades. You don't let them separate. Don't separate. We're fucking farming. Let's do this shit and don't stand for it. We do recognize it. We will make a difference. And, it's getting out to those huge brands, right? You said it's about cannabis, the plant. Well, come on, brand out there. There's going to be one big name. I won't run through any to put any mud on anybody's integrity, right? But these billions of dollars being made. This prohibition
problem we're not talking about.
it should already been done. So now through DAOs and NFTs and all this other systematic setup in the beginning to help continue the success in the end. Yeah, we get to do that now through established stuff you've been doing your whole life, Jeff. People like Jay Von Hartman, that he's been doing his life. What Jack Herrera's been doing, Richard David, all these people that did all these great things, we can now take and ride and bring it to the precipice of ending prohibition because that capability is now here. So if a brand is listening, you know who you are. Why the hell haven't you helped? But now we're at a point we don't need them. And we only need what we're doing right now.
In the bedroom, there's a massive elephant that's running, stampeding right through all of it. What we're talking about, we haven't talked about it yet. And it is the upcoming and ongoing crime because pot business is cash-based and the federal government will not allow it to be FDIC or any way. We have thefts on the rise in Washington State, California, and Oregon, et cetera, on the daily. Every single day, there's 2 or 3 stores robbed. Now, this is an elephant that we've been avoiding talking about. We're talking about ending prohibition. Well, this is a massive thing. We're talking about NFTs, changing ways, currencies, securities, blah, blah, blah. We're the elephant is stampeding right through everything we're talking about.
Well, I had a dream. I had a dream. I'm not going to the mountaintop with Martin Luther, but I had a dream way back in the 90s when I was hanging out with Dan Harer's father, Harer like Dare, everybody. And it was that we had one roundtable of 12 OGs and a couple of youngsters, and we came to one initiative, and we call it the One Initiative. So it's not all spread out from 52 states and 52 different initiatives, and that we all agree about the quality, the integrity, the ethics, and we get this done. So on my way, on our way, in the Farmers way to the White House in the Cannabis, however we get there, we're going to be on the nightly news. Gay marriage got it in, legalization in the Supreme Court. Let's just work on raising the awareness for the CARES Act. Let's raise the awareness to the growers right now that there's something in the soup that's screwing up the soup. Thank you, Dan, for sharing your knowledge today about. Did you call it the HL? What was that?
HLV.
The HLV, and all you growers out there, look into that. And Dan, what do you think about a new seed bank?
I think that there's going to have to be some repository that can be trusted, not to manipulate the genetics that's entrusted with, and really protect the legacy of so many different people who have bred extraordinary plants over the past 50 years. And that would be a great thing for us. Unfortunately, most of us right now are fighting just to survive in the cannabis space that we fought for so hard just to be in. Now we're literally fighting for our lives to stay in it.
Is it in Europe? Is it international, or
what's that?
Is it
the virus?
International? Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's international. I know I can't imagine it not being. Viruses don't tend to stay.
Too.
Sorry?
It's in Canada. Dana, I did not mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no.
I talked with some growers in Canada, and they have had a problem with it. And we have a room where we talk about that on Clubhouse as well. And it's quite interesting. And they talk about the hops latent virus because it's affecting not only cannabis, but it's affecting, like you said, vegetables, other plants, hops, and so thank you. I just wanted to, it is a problem internationally.
Well, a couple of episodes ago, we played an honorarium to my friend Joshua, who just got sober from opiates at his mom's house in Idaho. And Joshua was a brilliant soul, and he came home, and the same dose that he's always took was not accustomed to his body anymore. And we don't have Josh anymore. He was a incredible soul. And that was to opium. So the information here that we are holding space for is for those of us that are left alive right now. Everybody, this team that we're putting together right now is going to help to steward, the right way to do it. And we're not going to diss the wrong way, but we're going to do what we can to make our voices heard, everybody, and to share with each other, so we do have a clean environment for our sons and daughters to be able to have clean cannabis, because we got to clean this up and figure this out. And again, it's not the the dark in the closet that's trying to get into our genetics, and that's just conjecture. It's for us to get to the White House and Prohibition right now, hold each other's hands, and tell each other what's going on, so our products that we're all using are clean. I really appreciate you all today here. So
ISO, I think an ISO is some kind of an international standard conduct of you can follow this procedure to prevent the spread of this virus, and the ISO standard, right? And it can include all of the different things, including, the regulation of how it's transferred, et cetera, make it just a standard code. I mean, we all can get together on one thing.
Issue cultures remove the virus in the event that it is in the plant itself.
Yeah, we could just we make a standard of procedure that we can follow, just like we do with medical PPE, whatever, but with plants. So you follow this protocol, standard national standard, because if it's going to spread to the other countries, it's going to go to Netherlands or Europe or whatever, we got a big problem.
yes, Leah.
That's kind of like the hemp badge trackers, where they have their code bars, and there's companies that track the batch, and yeah, most definitely.
Fantastic. Michael, any final words? We're going to go roll around the horn here and call it a day. Michael, final words.
Just stay lifted, stay strong, and remember that we grow stronger together. Cheers.
Love you. Hemp Hemp Hooray. And Kara?
Stay fly, stay high, and hemp hooray.
Okay. And Sunsing, final words?
Together we build a strong foundation.
Hey, hey, hey. Dan?
Cannabis education saves lives.
And Kara and Leah?
Cannabis saves lives, and you can grow your own.
Leah, I have a question for you from Texas. What would you say to the children?
Let's get some hemp seeds for you to grow in your Future Farmers of America programs in the schools. Let's get some books into the schools, what's growing in grandma's garden, and teach them from a young age how to grow hemp for food, livestock feed, animal feed, and housing. And hemp is the building material right now and for your future that will save our planet.
Thank you. And Leah, for the adults, what would you say to the adults?
Deschedule it. Get Lieutenant Dan, Governor Patrick out of office. Vote. And go to your city council meetings. Get it put on the agenda and practice emergency preparedness with essential civilian demand to save lives for the medical plant, for the sacred plant, cannabis. It's all cannabis.
Thank you so much, Leah. And what would you say to me?
I would just say, it's Leah. Good to see you, and much love and much gratitude.
Everybody, we're on Weeds Day here. It's been great to have a little round table today. And as we do once a week, this is World 420 Day. Thank you for doing World 420 meditation with us. And I'm going to roll out of here with the share screen and share our, let's see if I can get to our outro here. And here we go.
Job people free.
Yes, sir, Rebop. We've got it.
Oh, yes. And laugh.
We've got it. Laughter is really a good medicine. Here we go, everybody. Thank you so much. Hemp, hemp, hooray, everybody. Hello, everybody, and hemp, hemp, hooray. It's Jeff Eichen here, and we are going to have a Weeds Day today. It's meditation day. It is World 420 Day. So we're really excited for World 420 Day. And thank you for all your support. And get ready for our incredible stuff that's going to happen. We are so blessed that we are having a relief fund, golf tournament, and concert coming up in the next year here. So keep close with us and get all your celebrities in tune with us and send them our way. And do not forget to donate to the Relief Fund. Parade. All right, everybody. It's been a great show. And thank you, Kara, for caring. And Dan, I really enjoyed seeing you today, and we're moving forward with what we're doing together, and
Yes, sir.
yeah, and I'm really excited about ending prohibition together.
Every day.
Okay. Any final words, Dan? Final to the global audience. We're still on.
The truth is out, and cannabis is the future.
And Tommy Chong said, the pot's already in the pipe. You can't take it out. Kara, final words?
Oh my gosh, thank you, Jeff, for having me here today. And Dan, thank you for a good conversation. I'd love to talk to you more in the future. This was, I think, our first time really getting to know each other today. But, you know, I think definitely the truth is out there. You are not wrong about that. And that the fight is not over. So we're in this together to end prohibition. And I can't wait for that day when we can all walk down the road together, smoking a joint and saying hemp, hemp, hooray. I think that's going to be a great day.
Okay, 3, everybody. So, and I'll do a screenshot here. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Okay, I did a screenshot, and we're going to say adios, amigos, to my beautiful team today. And if I can get to my end button, it's in the middle of this thing here. I've got a new operating system, and it put the button right on top of my end button. There it is. Okay. Everybody out in Weed World, Weeds Day, Jeff Eichen, sayonara, adios, bedankt, that's Netherlands, and hasta luego. See you next time, everybody. And you know what? Stay hydrated in your heart and spread the word. Okay, so we're going to go boom, 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 boom.